الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعزائي طلبة الصف الأول الثانوي، إن شاء الله النهاردة هنتكلم عن موضوع جديد تاني، هو السيل ستراكشر. بداية كده هنتكلم عن التركيب بتاع السيل من كل المكونات إن شاء الله، ونحاول بقدر الإمكان إن إحنا ناخد أكبر جزء النهاردة، عشان إحنا كده قربنا على امتحان الفصل الدراسي الأول. طيب، as we know, the cell consists of many structures, which are cell wall and cell membrane and protoplasm. What about the cell wall? First, we are going to speak about the cell wall of the cell. The cell wall is surrounded the plant cell, algae, fungi, and some type of bacteria. And as we know before, the cell wall is made up of a carbohydrate, which is called cellulose. So what is the function of the cell wall? It protects the cell, gives the cell its shape. It allows the passage of water and dissolved substance through it, because the cell wall is pitted, contains small narrow holes called pits. And the cell wall is not found or is not present in the animal cells. The cell wall is present only in the plant cell. Let's talk about the cell membrane. As you know, as you see in this picture, this is the structure of the cell membrane, and the cell membrane surrounds the cytoplasm of both plant cell and animal cell. So the cell wall or the cell membrane, the cell wall is only found in the plant cell, while the cell membrane surrounds both the cytoplasm of plant cell and animal cell. And you know, the cell membrane consists of two layers of phospholipids. So it is called a bilayer phospholipid or phospholipid bilayer. And each layer consists of two types of substances. In this picture, you see some heads. These heads are called hydrophilic heads. Hydrophilic means it loves water, so it absorbs in water. And the other part of the layer is hydrophobic tails. Hydrophobic tails يعني hate water, insoluble in water. So the cell membrane consists from outside the cell and inside the cell by two layers of phospholipid. From outside and inside, they face the content of the cell from inside, and by two substances which are hydrophilic heads. And the two layers face each other by hydrophobic tails. So it surrounds the cytoplasm of plant cell and the animal cell. Cell membrane consists of two layers of fluid phospholipid molecules. Each of them consists of hydrophilic heads, insoluble in water, facing the water medium inside the cell and outside the cell. Hydrophobic tails, insoluble in water, present inside the membrane. So the two layers face each other by hydrophobic tails. But the membrane facing the water medium inside and outside the cell by hydrophilic heads. It also contains cholesterol molecules. في هنا عندنا برضو molecules كده من مادة اسمها الكوليسترول. الكوليسترول molecules keep the cell membrane in cohesive and intact. طبعا احنا عارفين ان الفوسفوليبيد ده حاجه فلويد شويه، فمحتاج حاجه تربطه تمسك تخليه ماسك في بعضه متماسك، وده اللي بيقوم بدورها الكوليسترول molecules. And also it contains protein molecules embedded in the phospholipid membrane. These protein molecules works as identification gates. Any substance wants to enter the cell, it enters only through the protein molecules. يعني هنا the cell recognize anything that want to enter the cell by the phospholipids protein molecules. يعني احنا هنا ان بيحتوي على molecules protein embedded between the molecules of these two phospholipids layer. Some of them work as cell identification sites for different substances such as nutrients, hormones, and others. Others work as gates for passage of substance to and from the cell. Also, as I mentioned, in the cell membrane contains cholesterol molecule linked with the phospholipid to keep the membrane cohesive and intact. What is the function of the cell membrane? First, it covers the cell and separates its content from the surrounding medium so that it prevents the spreading out of protoplasm outside the cell. يعني بتحافظ على البروتوبلازم بتاع السيل من ان هو يخرج بره السيل. Organize the batches of substances to and from the cell by البروتين molecule. يعني معنى كده ان البروتين molecule has a role in انها عندها قابليه انها تختار الحاجه اللي تخش السيل عن طريق البروتين molecules. So we can call it has a selective permeability. So it can select the substance that enter or goes out from the cell. Second, we are going to speak about the protoplasm. The protoplasm is divided into nucleus and cytoplasm. What about the nucleus? The nucleus, as you know, that it is the most obvious organelle in the cell. واقدر اشوفها باللايت مايكروسكوب عادي. تبقى عندها spherical or oval shape. طب ايه اللي في النيوكليوس؟ النيوكليوس دي عندها تبقى اولا موجوده في السنتر اوف ذا سيل، موجوده في الانيمال في البلانت cells found in the animal and plant cell. It has a nuclear envelope عباره عن double thin membrane surrounds the nucleus. برضه nucleus content from the cytoplasm. It has tiny pores through which substance pass between nucleus and cytoplasm. يعني هنا a nuclear envelope contains tiny pores to allow substance to pass from the nucleus to the cytoplasm like the RNA as we mentioned before. A nucleoplasm ده عبارة عن transparent gelatinous fluids inside the nucleus بيبقى فيها كمان حاجة اسمها nucleolus and الchromosomes. What about the nucleus? A nucleus is small, round bodies found inside the nucleus. It may be one or more than one, responsible for the synthesis of ribosomes, which play an important role in protein synthesis. طبعا the number of nucleolus depend on the activity of the cell. If the cell is responsible for secreting enzymes or hormones, so it may have many nucleolus, as it play an important role in protein synthesis, such as the enzymes or hormone. الكروماتين ده عبارة عن minute tangle film، يعني عبارة عن filaments كده دقيقة وتانجل ملفوفة حوالين بعضها. ليها دور اثناء الايه او عمليه السيل ديفيجن، تتحول الى threads like rods اللي هي اسمها الكروموسومز. يبقى الكروماتين ده عباره عن minute tangled filament coiled around each other turn into rods like structure called chromosome during the cell division. What about the chromosome? الكروموسوم هنا طبعا عارفين ان هو بيبقى موجود بيظهر اثناء السيل division and each chromosome consists of two chromatids and the two chromatids linked together by a small round bodies called centromere. And the chromosome, each chromosome consists of a molecule of nucleic acid اللي هو DNA surrounded by protein called histone. So each chromosome consists of two chromatids joined together by a central part called centromere. The chemical structure of the chromosome is DNA surrounded by protein called histone. What's the function of the DNA? احنا عارفين طبعا ال DNA ده شايل كل الجيناتيك انفورميشن تمام بتاعت الليفنج اورجانيزم، بيتحكم في الستراكشر of the cell والشيب of the cell organize the cell activities. كمان بينقل الجيناتيك traits from parents to the offspring from generation to another. نيجي نتكلم عن ال other content of the protoplasm which is a cytoplasm. cytoplasm ده موجود فين ال space between the cell membrane and the nucleus. يعني it fills the space that found between the nucleus and the cell membrane. هو عبارة عن ايه؟ fluid like structure، عبارة عن water organic and inorganic substance. بيحتوي على ايه دوت؟ على حاجة اسمها السيتوسكيلتون، عبارة عن network of filaments of microtubules بتدي السيل السبورت، تعمل لها زي support and maintain its shape. And also it helps in transporting different substances from one place to another inside the cell. ده بالنسبة لمين؟ للسيتوبلازم. السيتوبلازم also contains two types of organelles. These two types of organelles are membranous and the non-membranous organelles. What is the difference between membranous and the non-membranous organelles? What about the membranous organelles? Membranous organelles that أنا بس ثواني كده لأن إحنا هنا حاطين في خطأ هنا في السلايد ده. ادوني بس يعني ممكن أغير بس الكلام ده. احنا قلنا ان السيتوبلازم contain two types of organelles, non-membranous and membranous organelles. What about the non-membranous? They are not surrounded by a membrane like the centrosome ribosome. And the membranous, these organelles surrounded عندها membrane like the endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, lysosomes, mitochondria, vacuoles, and plastid. Let's first talk about the non-membranous organelles. These organelles are not surrounded by membranes. First, ribosomes. ايه ribosomes؟ دي عبارة عن round shaped organelles وظيفتها ان هي بتعمل البروتين in the cell. في جزء من الرايبوسومز موجود freely in cytoplasm. وفي بعض منها موجودة على outer surface of the endoplasmic reticulum. What's the difference between them? Both of them synthesize protein. But what about the protein produced from the free ribosomes in cytoplasm? This type of protein used by the cell directly using vital process like growth, regeneration. The other ribosomes which are found on the outer surface on the endoplasmic reticulum responsible for producing also protein, but this protein is subjected to be used as cell secretions like enzymes and hormones. يبقى هنا the difference between the protein secreted by ribosomes, the free ribosomes and cytoplasm, and the ribosomes found on the outer surface of the endoplasmic reticulum, the ribosomes in cytoplasm produce protein used directly by the cell in many vital activities like growth, regeneration, and other activities. While the other ribosomes found on the outer surface of the endoplasmic reticulum responsible for synthesizing protein, this protein used by the cell to produce the cell secretions and enzyme and hormones. The second organelle which is not which hasn't a membrane is the centrosome. طبعا احنا عارفين قصه السنتروسوم دي لما كنا في السنه اللي فاتت ان السنتروسوم ده consists of two granules called centrioles. وزي ما انت شايف هنا ان each centriole consists of 9 groups of microtubules. Each group consists of 3 microtubules. So each centriole consists of 27 microtubules. So if the cell contains centrosome, so it contains 54 microtubules. So the centrosome consists of two tiny particles called centrioles. Each centriole consists of 9 groups of microtubules arranged in triples in cylindrical shape. ده شكل او تركيب السنتروسوم، بيبقى عاده بيبقى جنب النيوكليوس. ليه جنب النيوكليوس؟ لان هو ليه دور مهم جدا في السيل division, as it forms a spindle fiber that attaches the chromosomes during the cell division, especially at metaphase. So the centrosome plays an important role in cell division, where it produces the spindle fibers. And also the centrosome produces the flagella and cilia. Flagella like this organelle, which called euglena, has a flagellum used in movement. Also the other organelles, which is called paramecium, its body is surrounded by small hairs called cilia. These cilia also produced by the centrosome. Also the tail of the sperm is produced also from the centrosome. Let's talk about some of the membranous organelles, and we mentioned that the membranous organelles are organelles surrounded by membrane. We have here endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, mitochondria, lysosomes, plastids, and vacuole. Let's first talk about some of these organelles today. Endoplasmic reticulum, network of membranous canals, extends through all parts of the cytoplasm, extends through all parts of the cytoplasm, and attached to the nuclear envelope and the cell membrane. يعني زي ماسكه كده ما بين النيوكلير ممبرين والسيل ممبرين. internal بتعمل عمليه transferring system, transfer substance from part of the cell to another part, transfer substance between the cytoplasm and the nucleus. Types of endoplasmic reticulum. We have two types of endoplasmic reticulum. First, smooth endoplasmic reticulum. This means that its outer surface is free from ribosomes. What's the function of the smooth endoplasmic reticulum? Build lipids, بتحول الجلوكوز into glycogen, وتحول some toxic material into less toxic. So this type of endoplasmic reticulum is abundant in a part of the body which synthesize lipids, which transfer glucose into glycogen and convert toxic into less toxic. As you know, this part is the liver, so it is abundant in liver cells. ده شكل الاندوبلازميك ريتيكولم. في منها الراف اندوبلازميك، ده اللي هي عندها في الاوتر سيرفيس الرايبوسومز، وده السموث اندوبلازميك it doesn't have ribosomes. Let's talk about the rough endoplasm. We call it by this name because its outer surface is filled with أو contains ribosomes. طب ايه الغرض من كده؟ طبعا احنا عارفين ان الرايبوسومز ديت وظيفتها ان هي synthesize بروتين. طيب الاندوبلازميك الراف بتاخد البروتين اللي هو built by or synthesized by ribosomes, make some change in this protein, also make membranes in the cell. طبعا معنى ان هي بتنتج بروتين وبتعمل شويه موديفيكيشن على البروتين اللي هو بينتج بالرايبوسومز، ده معناها ان هتبدا تكون انزيمز، تكون هرمونز. ده معناها ان بلاقيها موجوده فين؟ abundant فين؟ في السيل اوف ستومك، سيل اوف small intestine، الجلاندولار سيلز. ليه؟ لان السيلز دي اللي بتاعت الستومك سكريتس الانزيمز زي البيبسين انزيم، والسمول intestines also secrete some other enzymes. كمان موجوده في الجلاندولار سيلز، السيلز اوف جلاند ذات الاندوكراين جلاند اللي هي بتسكريت الهرمونز. جولجي بادي اور جولجي apparatus عباره عن canals flat has round end. طبعا هي Golgi bodies it is given this name due to the Italian scientist Camillo Golgi اللي هو discovered اللي هو كان the first one who saw this apparatus in the cell. طب ايه وظيفه الجولجي بادي؟ الجولجي بادي ده بيعمل receive all the secreted substance secreted by the endoplasmic reticulum. بيبدا يعمل عليها شويه modification، يعمل لها عمليه classification، يبدا يوزع السبستانسز ديت في السيل كلها اللي محتاجه مثلا انزيمز، محتاجه هرمون، او يعمل لها زي ايه باكينج جوه فيسيكلز كده اسمها لايسوسومز، واللايسوسومز دي تبدا تتحرك للسيل ممبرين بحيث ان هي ممكن الحاجات، طبعا احنا عارفين اللايسوسومز ديت فيها دايجستيف انزيم بتاتاك الميكروبس، دايجست الميكروبس، move towards the cell membrane and spill this substance outside the cell. ده بالنسبه لمين؟ لجولجي بوديز. طبعا كل السبستانسز اللي هي received by جولجي بوديز جايه من الاندوبلازميك ريتيكولم. طيب جايه ازاي؟ جايه في فيسيكلز تتنقل من الاندوبلازميك ريتيكولم للجولجي بودي في صوره فيسيكلز. ده شكل الجولجي بودي، عباره عن كانالز لها راوند اندز. ده كان كلامنا النهارده على بعض السيل اورجانيلز. اشكركم لحسن الاستماع. كان معكم النهارده الاستاذ احمد فؤاد، كبير معلمين البيولوجي في مدرسه اللواء محمد نجيب الرسميه باداره العجمي محافظه اسكندريه. شكرا لكم جزيلا.